flying, I'm motor gliding, moving on the ridge real low, looking like a streak of lightning. If you gotta go, go, motor gliding. Listen to me and I'll tell you no lie. Too fast to turn, too low to climb. I got a cool machine and everybody say, whew, takes your breath away, motor gliding.
Well, welcome back everybody to the clip number 6 in a total of 12 clips. I finally checked what number of clips it is that we have in total, but it's 12 clips covering a 427k cross-country flight that started in North Wales, goes down the Welsh coast to Fishguard, back up around the coast, and then ultimately back to Denbigh Gliding in North Wales. I won't recap all the stuff. The task was a competition task flown in March 2021. 23 people competed, only 4 completed. Task was set, or the evening was hosted by Chris Gill, who's the CFI and manager at Denbigh Gliding and a pretty cool pilot who does lots of cool stuff, trying to break new records in his Arcus. Before that in a DG1000M. The Arcus is one with a pop-up motor. In this clip, we're making our way slowly and evenly down the coast at, well, I'd say best glide, but actually we're doing it at, I think, probably more min-sync than best glide. Either way, I'm sort of tiptoeing and enjoying the view. I'm trying to get as far as I can, but at this point, we're letting the land, the curve of the coastline come back to greet us, because we're now at 1,600 feet and reckoning that pretty soon we'll be able to pick up the influence of the hills on the coast to maintain height. On which note, the wind is blowing from direction 295 degrees at 21 knots. We're kind of pretty southwesterly at the moment. The wind is pretty northwesterly. So as you can see, more or less, this coast, the cliffs on the coast and any hills facing out to sea should give us lift. So I'm following my ghost, who was, because I actually did the flight on my own and managed to complete it in summer, I think it was, in 2021. And I wanted to make a YouTube video out of it, but I hadn't kept a replay file, so I opted to refly it following my ghost, with the reasoning that if he got round, I'd get round, because I didn't find it at all easy first time I did it, only just survived. And that's been a mixed blessing following the ghost, but for the moment we are, and well, I won't go on anymore. I'll just lift the visor a second, press the P, and let's get flying. Right, off we go. And there's my ghost. He is hugging the coastline. I opted to kind of try and take a slightly more as the crow flies route across the curve of this bay. And one way or another, we are now pretty much pointing the direction of Fishguard. So we should more or less be able to just follow this coast round and towards turning point 3 at Fishguard. So yeah, that's where we're up to. So as you can see, the ghost is, I'm flying pretty close to him really, and of course our tracks are converging now as he sort of curves around with the coast, having followed it more closely than me. I'm rather higher than him. Is that a pretty good thing? I suppose it is in a sense. But let's wait and see, because I've got no hill lift working for me, so I shall continue just to sink down at the rate of 1.4 knots. We're going down at the moment 1.5. Whereas he will be getting the benefit of lift off the slope now, and maybe even deciding to speed up a bit, because he is. Certainly I'm not ahead of him, just got a bit of height on him. So let's see what happens as we start to converge. This clip I call, I think, Crossing Death Bay, because when I flew it in 2021, that's me over there flying in 2021, there was a point somewhere along here where things got so desperate. I I sort of tried to get some lift off of a cliff as best I could, and then I just had to face going across a bay, very low. I think I reached the other side of it only about 200 feet above the water or something like that. It's ridiculous. And then of course it's a bit scary because you just hope that what's there at the other side works, because if not, you're ditching in the sea. So I called it Death Bay. I think it's one of the reasons why when I flying at this time with him, you know, I'm sort of even more inclined to want to stay high, because I don't want to be in quite that situation again. But let's wait and see. Let's see what happens. We're starting to move in towards the coast at 1,200 feet or so. Coast is very slightly ahead of me and a bit lower, but of course, you know, he's going to bump into some good lift pretty soon. I'm going to gently come down to it. There's really nothing in it, as I can see. And my little experiment about trying to fly more as the crow does, which wasn't very much more as the crow does, to be honest, hasn't really achieved very much, I don't think. But we'll see. Let's just watch what he does. So I would imagine he'll start rising up now, getting nearer to my altitude. Got to keep an eye on him. As we said in previous clips, in real life you've got to be very careful about flying with a glider hidden under your nose. They can't see you, and you can't really see what their intention is. And you know, in a real glider you can't sort of lean out like this right over the side of the cockpit to check it all out. So yeah, we're starting to get some lift effect, and I think probably I'm heading like this. I'm just trying to explore where the best band of lift might be, get a feel for what line to fly along the cliffs best. We're flying 240 at the moment, heading, and the wind is 295. So it's about 55 degrees off of us, or somewhere like that, I suppose. So you would expect the lift might get a little stronger on this little section of cliff as we come along here. And sure enough, it's starting to rise a bit. But again, the guy who won this task in March 2021 did it at a speed of 131 kph. Carrying 4 water ballasts, and would imagine shifting along this coast at, you know, 90 knots or something like that, whereas look at us dawdling along at 45 knots. Ridiculous, really. And in that situation he'd have been, as it were, averaging out the lift from the good bits and the bad bits, maybe pulling up a bit if there was a pull-on good bit to store some energy in the glider. But of course he can achieve best glide at a higher speed with full water. I mean, for us, best glide with no water ballast on board might be 55 knots or something. I should know all this really, but hey, this is just Condor VR. Whereas with full water ballast, it might be nearer to 70 knots or something like that. And again, you know, if as you track along, you know you're going to be meeting plenty of lifting air coming over the cliffs, then it's a bit like the McCready idea. You'll take a view on how much faster you can go than best glide, because you know you're going to pick up energy and it gets you along the task faster. So I haven't been paying much attention here, but look at this. For some reason the Ghost is now 2.3 kilometres, I think it's kilometres, ahead of me and at my height. So I don't know what I've been doing here, but I've not been doing it as well as they have. Hoped I might be a bit better at this stuff after 18 months of fooling around on hills compared to them, but hey-oh. I think to some extent I was just following the Ghost and being relaxed about it. I wasn't really fussing about that. And of course in clip 2, I think it was, of this series, I did fly close formation with the Ghost and it got me into some trouble. So I probably am not that inclined inclined to fly particularly close formation with him after that. In fact, there will come a point further on in this task, might as well give the secret away, where I remember on my first flight, the Ghost as it were, got into terrible trouble. I think it was somewhere near Aberystwyth coming back, and had to go inland onto some shallow slopes and scrape at a very low height to try and get to a situation where I dared to proceed onwards. And so on this reflying, I think at that point I decide to part company with the Ghost completely. I won't tell you more than that because it would spoil all the fun, but I'll give that bit away anyway. So here we are, being super cautious, going slowly, gaining height as much as we can. I'm probably thinking about Death Bay coming up and not wanting to be in a low energy, low altitude situation when we're faced with crossing that. I do seem to have extra height on the Ghost, so I could at any point just put the nose down and close in on him. Well, it looks like I'm putting a little bit of speed on anyway, just a bit. Lovely to be a passenger on this replay and just enjoy all the coastline as we head south pretty much along the Welsh coastline. And I say south, we're kind of pointing west, but we wouldn't read too much into that if we looked at it on a map. Broadly speaking, this is where you sort of move from North Wales to South Wales along the coast. Although we'll only be going as far as Fishguard, which is Pembrokeshire, which is sort of heading towards South Wales, but not quite there. I mean, I look at the way I'm flying this and I think to myself that at some point I might really like to try flying it with full water ballast and trying to do it fast. And even if I land out, it won't matter that much because I know I've at least completed it twice. But I should at some point learn how to do this in a kind of more dynamic way. And I mean, where the glider's pointing at the moment is directly on course to Fishguard. And maybe that's what I'm going to do, but I'm thinking to myself, why not just put the nose down and get across this bit, because there should be lifting hills on the other side. Having said that, when you look at where this next bay curves round to that headland, there's a good looking cliff there, but beyond that the cliffs look a little bit kind of much smaller, don't they? Although there's a bit of the ground rises up a bit back from us, it's only gentle, and there's something beyond that which might be the infamous Death Bay we have to cross. So I might want to be a little bit careful that I don't end up in the same predicament as I did on the first flight. Ghost seems to be shifting along quite well, doesn't he? He's keeping his distance ahead of me, even though he sort of curved round the coast. Whether he was doing a bit of power flying in ridge effect, I don't know. All I do know is I did complete the task this time significantly quicker than him, but a lot of it had to do with what happens later in the flight. And I think if he hadn't messed me around so much on the first leg, and indeed a bit on the second leg really, could have clipped more time off this flight, even without doing the full water ballast aggressive flying thing. I might have clipped 15 minutes or so perhaps off of the length of this flight. So I think I'm still being a bit cautious. I'm not giving a height away too easily. I have a feeling that Death Bay lurks up ahead somewhere, and I don't want to be crossing it as low as I did last time. See if we can spot the Ghost getting very low over the bay at the relevant point. Now I might appear to be keeping away from the cliffs a bit, but I'm going westerly at the moment. That's 270, so the wind is only about 25 degrees off my nose. I don't really want to know this first bit of cliff. It's only when we get rounded a bit that I'm expecting it to be kind of useful. To see how well Condor models that and it reflects reality. So I'm probably closing a little bit now, thinking that at this point there might be a little bit of lift as the wind strikes the cliff at an angle, but I'm not going to I'm sort of tiptoeing in really. I don't want to get on the wrong part of this cliff, a bit of land. Strip over there underneath the port wing tip. I wonder if that's an airfield. Looks a bit like it, doesn't it? Not sure what airfield it is at this particular point. Yeah, so just starting to get a little bit of a tickle on the varianta. We're down to 1,000 feet, so each to see what I do if I get a good kick off of this, whether I decide to do a few S-turns or something and take some out of it. Because looking ahead, the cliff height is a lot lower than here, and I think there could well be Death Bay over there that's got to be crossed. Yeah, it looks like I am going to explore it a bit. Surprised it's working as well as it is at this point here. It's working surprisingly well. But again, this is Condor. Well, there's a little kind of kink, isn't there? But this is Condor, so yeah. Yeah, so I've made nearly 400 feet there. I think I'm probably thinking I'll store a bit here and then I can move on and get Death Bay over with. That leaves the Ghost a fair bit ahead of us at the moment. I have to wait and see whether we can spot him crossing Death Bay at a deathly low height. But what I'm doing here is not really the way to get the task completed quickly. It's just, as I've said on so many clips on so many of these sort of flights, for me it's all about just staying up, enjoying the view, giving myself time to think as I look out there. You know, a more on the ball experienced pilot would be able to assess all of this much better than me. As Clint Eastwood famously said in, was it Dirty Harry or Magnum Horse, man's got to know his limitations. Right, so I've decided to get a move on now, by the look of it. I think I might have decided in part as well to catch my ghost up a bit, because they're getting a bit further away from me than I would really like, and also perhaps I'm hoping to get close enough to get a view of them doing the heart in your mouth crossing of Death Bay, and I think that probably is what they're doing there. Yes, because they look rather lower than me. And I mean, the thing about the Death Bay thing is, you know, they've got to keep out to sea because, you know, if they're not careful, they're caught in the lee of that headland beyond the next bay, and therein would lie some bad sink, and that would definitely put them in the water. So they've got to do the scary thing and keep out to sea, and then turn around the headland in order to get onto the lifting side of that coastline, to the coastline, and get themselves back up to high. Yeah, I think they're busy doing their death-defying crossing of Death Bay now. And we look sort of somewhat better placed to get across that water. Yeah, we're keeping height well because we're hugging the coastline, although the wind's only striking it at a pretty shallow angle. It's enough to sort of reduce the sink. And there's this little bay in here. I mean, there's possibly we'll get a very slight kick as we go around this bit. Yeah, I think your man is committed to crossing Death Bay. So we're pulling up here in anticipation of perhaps just a little bit of energy in this bay. Do you know, I think that's an old chapel there with the cockpit, and I seem to recall with my partner and the doggies going near that beach here. We couldn't go down on that beach because dogs weren't allowed, but we had a lovely walk around the top of the the headland or the coast. Beautiful it was. How funny. I can remember that. So it's great fun, you know, trying to link up real life things that you might have done in this part of the world with this fantasy stuff. Yes, I think this is Death Bay, only I don't feel nearly so bad about crossing it this time, as I don't see any way that we can't get across that quite comfortably and onto the headland on the other side, or round the headland and onto the lifting side of the cliffs. But let's see. Flying with a bit more confidence here, doing 70 knots or thereabouts. Yeah, I think your man has made it around the coast. You can see he's obviously very low. Must have been, well, it was. I must have been, I was there, it was me flying it. Yeah, it's quite heart in mouth. Because, you know, you're a long way on in this task and you don't really want to be restarting it, or trying again. I would have given up for the night. Anyway, he's made it round, and hopefully he's now in some good, strong coastal lift. I guess I'm aiming to hit this headland as close as I can without risking being too badly in the lee of anything. I've got a bit more height, so I can risk cutting it a little bit fine, and hopefully I can turn tight a little bit of coast, and then we'll see whether I look at how the Ghost has improved his altitude. He's clearly been getting some good lift along there, and he might well be doing some S flying up and down it a bit to build up height. Can't quite tell from what he's doing. Yes, I think the way the speed, the distance between us is diminishing suggests he's coming back along the ridge and has been doing some height gaining. Yeah, it looks quite good, doesn't it, around the headland? But my God, you wouldn't want to be caught on the wrong side of this. It would be bad news. Okay, turning in now, hopeful of good stuff any moment. We shall see. Where's that good stuff? Here he comes. So I want some of that too. God, it feels good to have some strong lift. We're getting good lift here. I wonder if you get anything quite like this in real life. I doubt it. This is Condor lift, I think. But again, if someone who knows about soaring cliffs like this, especially the ones in Wales, is watching this and wants to leave a comment, I'd be very interested to hear what they have to say. There the old ghost get away over here. I'm probably spending too much time anyhow, but I think I'm just enjoying it again. I love just doing this kind of thing, and also, I'm kind of practicing trying to do good S turns, trying to stay in the best band of lift and things, and to some extent that kind of thing translates into doing it in real life. Although, of course, for me, whether I shall ever again do this kind of thing in real life, don't know. It doesn't seem terribly likely. But come on now, let's get a move on. And I tell you, I remember, especially the first time I did this flight, and even now when I look at this, right, it's the end of that clip. There are bits where you look at this ahead and you're always thinking, where am I going to get my next good bit of lift? I mean, there's this to cross, there's that bay over there to cross. It just goes on and on and on, a never-ending series of moments where you think, how am I going to get across this bit? Really, I find it very challenging, to be honest. And I know I'm a pilot of very modest ability, but I find it challenging. But great, very rewarding, a lot of fun. Anyway, that's the end of this clip, and I hope you enjoyed it. Like and subscribe if you did, and if I've worked out how to put that notification bell on the screen by the time I publish these clips, click the notification bell and all that stuff. In the meantime, look after yourselves, and look forward to seeing you on the next clip. And as ever, when I take the VR headset off, it'll look like I'm bailing out the glider. Okay, bye for now.